Okay, well, I guess it's time for, the dictionary video. I don't know how long this will be, but, I have muted the game volume. Primarily because I didn't really want to sit here and read a whole bunch of stuff to some quasi-circus music. Here, you can hear this music. Let me show you the quick difference, just because. This is what we're listening to, nice and peaceful. This is what we could be listening to. I almost half expect the Rossetti troupe to show up with that music playing, so, out of slight fear, I have just muted it for the time being. But, let's see. We'll start off with the new terms. Man, there's a lot of names to go through here. Let's start at the bottom, and Shelby the Heavy-Handed. He's the guard we beat in the Curlsaw training facility, if you've forgotten. They want us to see just Shelby, though, so can I, or has that already been removed? No, apparently that was just giving us Shelby's nickname. What do we got about Gregory von Derman III? An honorable man that has earned numerous military honors on the battlefield. Gregory is unskilled in social interactions. He got along particularly poorly with Duke Vox, the captain of the Dragon Brigade, and was soon demoted to the rank of common soldier and sent packing to the remote Curlsaw caverns. However, the unsympathetic response of those around him would seem to indicate that many other people had trouble dealing with him as well. Is he the one who met us at the very end of the Curlsaw caverns? I think he is. He seemed happier there, so it doesn't seem like it was too bad of a deal for him. Irina, one of the primary goddesses of the Church of Apris, and the second eldest sister of the three moon goddesses married to Apris the sun god. Okay, so who is Eri? One of the major gods of the Church of Apris, and the god of the land. Eri is said to be a giant, the largest of the guards, who wields a gigantic battle axe. We'll get all these myths / traditions out of the way, which will probably be all of these goddesses. Palmyra, a primary goddess of the Church of Apris, and the youngest of the three moon goddess sisters married to Apris the sun god. So, Apris is married to three sisters, apparently? Do they have any kids? I mean, I'm kind of curious how this myth is going to play out. Where are they all located at? Are any of them still alive? Is it like that type of god / mythos? Are we going to bump into them? Okay. So that's all of the mythos, unfortunately, that I've got on the new terms. I'm sure there's a bunch that we'll be able to read in a bit. I want to see about the dragon species, the winged dragons here. Winged dragon is a general term that refers to any type of dragon with wings that can fly. On Elacor 2, this term is mainly used to refer to the planet's brass dragons. Usually, all flying dragons are referred to as winged dragons, but in the kingdom of Eriglyph a distinction is made between the vitally important air dragons and other flying dragons. Therefore, all dragons are not referred to as winged dragons in this kingdom. What else do we got? We got one city, the town of Paterni, the city of Paterni. A city and commercial hub connecting the royal Aqueous to the sacred kingdom of Aquaria, with the three surrounding kingdoms. Unlike Aqueous, with its decidedly religious bent, this town is an advanced center of commerce, and acts almost as a second capital to the sacred kingdom of Aquaria. Paterni is the commercial heart of the whole continent of Gate. Very advanced. They've got electronic handheld communicators, for crying out loud. The Craftsmen's Guild, a government-run guild in the town of Paterni, created with the goal of improving technology by protecting talented craftsmen and engineers, and by promoting friendly competition between the same. Basically, this honored organization acts to place work orders and protect engineers. A very good organization. They helped us, at least. They gave us 1,000 foal, and a handheld communicator. Seems like they're just eager for any inventors to show up and help. The Moonshadow Clan, an armed band of thieves that have recently made its base in Douglas Forest, to the west of the town of Peterny. I'm going cross-eyed. The Moonshadow clan preys upon merchants passing by on the road, robbing them of all the money and valuables they can get their hands on. What can we learn about the Douglas Forest? I have a feeling that we're going to be going through that region very soon. A forest located in the middle of the Sandmite steppe in which many medicinal herbs and flowers grow. Recently, a band of thieves that calls itself the Moonshadow Clan has been using this forest as a base of operations while continuing to grow in strength. Do you have any more information on them? Like who the leader of this Moonshadow Clan is? The Bequerel Mountain Pass. A mountain path between the Curlsaw Caverns and the village of Arius. This is also a second road connecting Ariglyph and Aquaria. However, since this path between the kingdoms is much more roundabout than the usual roads, as well as precipitous, this route is hardly used. Precipitous. Did I get that right? I think I did. Claire Lasbard, the captain of the Runological Corps that reports directly to Aquaria 27, and longtime friend of Nell. Claire also currently serves as commander of the Aquarian army positioned near Arius. Claire and Nell are together known as the Double-Edged Crimson Blade, and are charged with doing the dirty work for Aquaria 27, also known as the Holy Mother. The two are famous in the surrounding lands. What do I got coming up on the list now? Oh, never mind. I wasn't sure what song was playing, if it was going to be good or bad. Grana Hills. A region noted for its deep gorges connecting Curlsaw with the Curlsaw Training Facility. It is the only part of the Kingdom of Ariglyph used to grow crops. In actuality, however, the areas flat enough to use for agriculture are no wider than a soldier's shield. Really? That is a very, very small region to apparently be growing crops in. What are they, just scattered around the hillside there? Just random patches of fertile dirt and everything else just dies? No wonder they want to expand out. The Curlsaw Hills, a barren, hilly region between Curlsaw and Arius that contains rich mineral deposits. Sovereignty over this region is a point of dispute between Ariglyph and Aquaria, and there is still no precise boundary between the two kingdoms in this area. Yeah, we went through there. The training facility. An ancient abandoned fort south of Curlsaw, converted by the Ariglyph military into a garrison for the Black Brigade. Hundreds of innocent men and women, especially believers of the Church of Apris living within the territory of Ariglyph, have been executed here in order to serve as an example. Well, I'm glad we didn't add 2 or 3 or 5 more to the mix earlier. We'll see if they continue their executions there now that we've stormed through the place. I was gonna say, tried to mix the word storm and stomped there, apparently. Airy Hills. Both Ariglyph and Aquaria claim sovereignty over this hilly region which lies between Curlsaw and Arius. Each kingdom wants this vast land for different reasons. The kingdom of Ariglyph for growing crops, since it never freezes, and the sacred kingdom of Aquaria for the wealth of resources hidden underneath its soil. So they don't even need it for food. Ariglyph is getting ready to starve out, and Aquaria basically just wants it for what, the mineral resources there? Maybe the water rights or something? Castle Aquaria. The castle where the queen of the sacred kingdom of Aquaria dwells, a holy site for the Church of Apris, and the most advanced runology laboratory on the planet. Many religious people and scholars flock to this castle to research its rich history and traditions. Have we already seen it? I think we saw that place. Palmyra Plains. Fertile plains between Arius and Peterny. I'm going to have to decide how I'm going to pronounce this. Peterny? Paterny? Paterny? I really like Paterny, but every time I look at it I see the word Peter, and I just through it. And Paterny that are cut in half by a river that runs east to west. Every several years the river overflows and causes flooding, but this process also has the effect of naturally replacing the soil, and thereby maintaining the richness of the land. We've also got the Welch Vineyard. Oh, that is Welch Vineyard, the lovely lady at the Crafting Guild who helped us. A young woman who runs the Craftsmen's Guild in Paterni. This working woman is smart, good-looking, and has a good personality. And even the guildmaster who leads the Craftsmen's Guild is no match for her crafting ability. Wonder how many patents she owns. The guildmaster, respected elder of the Craftsmen's Guild located in Paterni. At first glance, he looks like some kind of strange humanoid, but the guildmaster is a bona fide human, no mutant. No one knows the shocking secret of his real name. Thing is, nobody has ever bothered to ask. He's just addressed as Guildmaster. Maybe we'll ask him when we go back. Sandmite Steppe. A semi-arid grass-covered plain between the sacred kingdom of Aquaria and the Sandmite Republic. The Sandmite Steppe is surrounded by mountains that cause the altitude to vary dramatically within the region. Around the time the kingdom of Eriglyph invaded the kingdom of Aquaria, armed bands of thieves began infesting the forest areas near this region. I really wish we had more information on those thieves. Maybe we can find some here. We've got Eriglyph Castle, Eriglyph Military Superpower. What can we find about the town of Arius? A town in the sacred kingdom of Aquaria that lies closest to the neighboring kingdom of Eriglyph. It has managed to withstand several fierce attacks by the Eriglyph military in the past, thanks to its garrison, which is skillfully led by Claire Lasbard and its runological corps. However, many of the town's runologist defenders have been injured in the repeated battles, and it is rumored within the kingdom of Aquaria that the fall of this town is imminent. I guess that's probably why they want our help so bad, before they lose that town and possibly lose the tide of the war. It really is the end of the line for them. The continent of Greeton. A huge continent located to the east of the continent of Gate. Greeton alone accounts for 40% of the entire land surface of Elicor II. However, there are only two land masses on Elicor II that are large enough to be called continents, Gate and Greeton. Elicor II's northern hemisphere has a number of island chains, but no continents. Probably just a vast ocean then, maybe? Is this like half of a water world, perhaps? I guess there probably wouldn't be much point in exploring out there. It'd be hard to survive, maybe? I wonder how many survive. I don't know. Now I'm just going too in-depth. How many supplies would they have to carry? How many weeks until they could actually circumnavigate the globe here and across that ocean without starving? What's the weather like? What do we know about Earth? The third planet of the Sol system, you moron. Do you need to know any more than that? Apparently not. Edifice, the planet. The presence of two races has been confirmed on this underdeveloped planet. One is a marine race known as the Edifians, and the other is a race of humans that is very similar to the Earthling race. Since Edifice is an underdeveloped planet, there have not been any detailed investigations, but the existence of an advanced ancient civilization has been conjectured due to the so-called gift they left behind as a legacy. I'm guessing Edifice is the name of the planet that we're currently on. Elicor, the star. Wait a second, no. Are we on Elicor too? I think so. I'm confused about where we're at. Okay, all these names, I guess they're just blending together. The primary of the Elicor system has an effective temperature of 5,290 degrees Kelvin, a radius of 5.92 times 10 to the 8th power million, I'm guessing, and an absolute visual magnitude of 5.7. I'm not sure what that M means. I'm going to assume 10 to the 8th power, and then a million after that, maybe? Or is that miles? Probably miles. According to the mythology of the natives of Elicor II, this star is an incarnation of Apris, the sun god. So where is Edifice? Is this not the planet that I'm on? I'm on Elicor II, right? Other than the fact that most of the atmosphere is composed of neon and other noble gases, the second planet in the Elicor system has an atmospheric composition that is similar to that of Earth. Elicor II has an axial tilt of 32.6 degrees and is 0.8 astronomical units from its parent star, and has a surface gravity of 0.9 g. The planet's technology level is estimated to be equivalent to 17th century Earth. Although this planet is registered in the Galactic Atlas as an underdeveloped planet since its people are constantly at war, no data is available for the total population of sentient life forms. How sad. Eta Sector. The sector of the Milky Way galaxy that includes Tetragenesis and remote stations 3 and 4. Wait a second, Expel. Where is Expel? Is that the planet that Fate is originally from? A planet located in the Arcula system of Sector Theta that has an atmospheric composition and surface gravity approximately identical to those of Earth. This naturally beautiful world is currently enjoying a period of stability, but at one point in its past, the high density of energy stones distributed throughout its atmosphere polluted the entire planet. This mysterious pollution, which began in 366 SD, continued for several years and affected the psyche of many of the planet's wild animals, causing them to ferociously attack the native Expellians. However, in 371 SD, Dr. Newman succeeded in developing his Newman Purifier, a device that was able to remove this pollution. This cleaner worked wonderfully, removing most of the pollution by the very next year, and thereby eliminating almost all of the negative influence of the energy stones. Recognizing the value of this technology, Expel was invited to join the Pan-Galactic Federation at the end of the same year. Because Expel is one of the few planets that generate energy stones, a necessity in the creation of quadratic keys, the planet is an extremely influential voice within the Pan-Galactic Federation. The current Prime Minister of Expel is Miss Eleanor T. Cross, age 36. Guess we're going to be finding out more about that soon too, huh? Federation Station number 5. C. Moonbase. Gravitic Warp Space, Greeton. Some of these I believe I've already actually read through in the very beginning of the game, but maybe not. I'll try not to reread through too many of the same ones, but it may happen. What do we know? See the Kingdom of Greeton, the technological superpower. Aruba, the city. The 14th recreational zone of Hydra 4, Aruba's huge, pristine beach and tropical forest park helped to make it the most popular of Hydra 4's 24 recreational zones. Aruba is popular with a wide range of visitors from all generations, including families, couples, and a large number of celebrities from various fields. I want to know more about Greeton here. Located on the continent of Greeton on Ellicor II, Greeton is well known for its technological sophistication. Most of the population of Greeton is comprised of humanoids known as rockfolk, and it is rumored to possess a relatively high level of mechanical technology. However, details of Greeton are scarce, as it closed itself off to outsiders centuries ago, in order to preserve and protect its knowledge, perhaps. The caverns, no, I'm not really worried about. Kloss the third planet of the Kloss system. Kloss 3 has no seasons due to its axial tilt of 0.4 degrees, and is 1.2 astronomical units away from its parent star, and has a gravity of 2.4 g. Its atmosphere has only 2/3 of Earth's oxygen in terms of density. The oxygen is replaced by additional nitrogen. It is thought that the severity of this environment, low oxygen density and heavy gravity, is responsible for giving the Klossians their incredible physical capabilities. So that's why Cliff is so badass, huh? Kloss 4, the 4th planet in Kloss system. Kloss 4 has an atmospheric composition that is almost completely made up of carbon dioxide. Kloss 4 has an axial tilt of 11.2 degrees and is 1.8 astronomical units. I just went brain dead from its parent star, and has a gravity of 0.6 g. Although it used to be sterile and devoid of any life forms, as the population of Kloss 3 increased, colonialization proceeded, and now 1/4 of all Klossians live in habitation domes constructed on this planet. So they're surviving. Maybe they need some of those air purifiers. The atmospheric composition and gravity of the areas underneath the habitation domes are adjusted to resemble that of Kloss 3, and therefore life is possible underneath the domes without any noticeable difference. The total number of Klossians living in the galaxy at present is estimated at around 12 billion. Hiccups, go away, I'm trying to read here. I don't have time for you. Lasonia. a planet located in the Gamma sector. Gravitational anomalies abound in the region surrounding Lasonia. It used to boast a huge sphere of influence thanks to the warp tunnels that used these anomalies for faster-than-light travel. Unfortunately, this method of travel is one-way only, and only leads to specific destinations, so when warp technology was developed, the power of this planet dwindled rapidly. As of the present date of 772 SD, only a few useful two-way routes have been discovered. Luna, that's our moon, right? The moon of the third planet of the Sol system, Earth. In this day and age, when people speak of Luna, they are often referring to Moonbase, which was built in orbit around Luna. Did they forego building any bases on the moon and just decide to skip its gravity well altogether? I actually don't remember. Let's see. Moonbase, the widely used nickname of Federation Station Number 5, which was built in orbit around the moon Luna in the Sol system. Pan-Galactic Federation? What can we learn about them? Established by the third planet of the Sol system in 12 SD, the Pan-Galactic Federation was the first multiplanetary alliance-based government. Originally known as the Terran Alliance when it was founded, as it grew, its name was changed to the Pan-Galactic Federation. Currently, several hundred races of sentient life forms belong to this government. Awesome. Go Humans, Remote Station 6. A Pan-Galactic Federation base located on the borderline between the Gamma and Lambda sectors that is home to 8 battle-class ships, with the most powerful and honored ship of them all, the Aqua Ellie, as the mothership, 35 combat explorers and research explorers, and 25 transport ships. More ships are stationed here than in typical space stations in order to counter the hostile Aldean Empire. The current commander of this base is Commodore Whitcomb, the most famous hero of the Pan-Galactic Federation. What about number 7? A Pan-Galactic Federation base orbiting Hydra 3 that patrols and protects approximately half of the Kappa sector, including Hydra system itself, as well as part of the Iota sector. This base includes 3 battle-class ships, with the GFAS 1144 Argyle acting as the mothership, 10 combat explorers, and 12 research explorers/transport ships. This base's fleet is smaller than that of other Federation space stations, because there are no powers in the region that are hostile to the Pan-Galactic Federation. General Birmingham, age 54, is the current base commander. Let's see, what else should we look at here? We've got Roak, the planet in the Theta sector, which is relatively close to the Sol system. The blood of the feline folk who live on this planet can be processed and used to manufacture a material that is able to absorb nearly 100% of all light wavelengths, between 240 and 780 nanometers. Is that nanometer? I think it is. This caused Roak to get pulled into a war between the Terran Alliance and Lasonia in the middle of the 4th century SD. Creepy. They wanted to harvest their blood, huh? The estimates of the number of feline folk that were abducted from Roak and taken to Lasonia during this period vary from several 100,000 to several million. In 446 SD, Roak signed an alliance with Earth, and in 450 they joined the Pan-Galactic Federation, or so we are told. What is it? Is it a mysterious planet? I mean, I'm surprised that they haven't been able to clear that up in the history, I guess. Ruins of Kafir. It's a facility. Ancient abandoned ruins located near the village of Whipple. The locals believe that these ruins are the tombs of aristocrats that used to rule this area in the distant past. Tetragenesis. The 4th planet of the primary star Genesis, located in the Eta sector. Tetragenesis used to be the thriving home of many sentient life forms, but a series of solar flares have recently turned it into a dead world on which nothing can live. I thought there was a screen after that. Maybe not. It looked like I was accidentally scrolling through a screen real quickly there. What do we know about Vendine? A single-planet nation located in the Vendini system. First contact was made in 710 SD, Although the Vendini possess little power, the sophistication of their science exceeds that of the Pan-Galactic Federation and the Aldean Empire. This has allowed Vendine to maintain its neutrality despite the delicate balance of power in the region. The Vendini are not hostile to the Pan-Galactic Federation, but on the other hand, they are not particularly friendly either. I think we've read through some of these already, like that last one in particular. Whipple, the village Plump first arrived at after crash landing on Vanguard 3. Comprised of farmers and field workers, this village possesses no particular industry. Well, that was political bodies and places. I don't think I want to read anything else in here. Theta Sector... Actually, what about Reserve? A planet located in the Zeta Sector. That is not a member of the Pan-Galactic Federation. Reserve oppresses the people of surrounding planets through military force and has even been designated as a sponsor of terrorism by the Pan-Galactic Federation. Sergeant Brooklund is the current Prime Minister of this planet. Another name for us to look up. Yeah, we'll see what new people we've got. Should have a lot. Clive Esteed, Commodore Whitcomb, Commander-in-Chief of the Federation forces near Vendini space, is a heroic veteran of countless victories against the Aldean Empire. Commodore Whitcomb is well respected by officers and soldiers alike, and has the reputation for possessing the best analytical skills and judgment in the Federation. Commodore Whitcomb's flagship is the battleship Aqua Ellie. What do we know about the Count Woltar? The captain of the Storm Brigade and the Lord of Curlsaw. Woltar is a loyal man who has served Eriglyph the Eighth longer than anyone else. Wait a second. I do this sometimes. I get retarded. That's the 13th. Eriglyph 13. Longer than anyone else. He supported Eriglyph 13's reformation along with Albel's father, Glau Nox, or Glue Nox. The father of Albel Nox, captain of the Black Brigade, and the previous captain of the Dragon Brigade. Wielding the sword of the Crimson Scourge, a royal treasure, this man supported the reformation of Eriglyph 13. Tragically, Glau Nox sacrificed his life to spare his son during Albel's failed ascension of the Flame ceremony, burning to death in the dragon's fiery breath. That's pretty intense. Mina, a young Vanguardian girl living in the village of Whipple, this kind-hearted child found Plump collapsed on the ground outside the town and nursed him back to health. I think we already read about them actually too. Professor Trillis Boctane, the man who first succeeded in creating a subspace warp near Earth in 2087 AD. Practical applications of this technology enabled humanity to take its first steps out of the Sol system. The universe has never been the same since, for better or for worse. Sergeant Brooklund, the current military ruler of Reserve, a master of guerrilla tactics and terrorism, Brooklund overthrew his corrupt superiors in a revolution 10 years ago, and thereby attained his current position. Here we go, here's Shelby. Second in command of the Black Brigade's heavy cavalry, pride of the Kingdom of Eriglyph. The men of the brigade like Shelby better than the captain, Albel, because of his honest, hearty personality. Well, it didn't do him very much good on the battlefield. Shelby's nickname is Shelby the Heavy-Handed. Unfortunately, Shelby does have the bad habit of attempting to solve every problem through military force. You see, if he just would have tried to be diplomatic with us, he might still be alive. Violence is not always the answer. Unless you're strong enough. Races. Oh man. There are a lot of races to go through. I am not going to read all of them. Nope. What do we know about the Reserbians? A sentient race living on the planet Reserve in the Zeta Sector. Reserbians resemble leeches in that they live by sucking fluids from other organisms. So, they are blood-sucking terrorists, huh? Reserbians are highly susceptible to damage by short wavelengths of light, such as ultraviolet, and without the special suits that they always wear, their skin would burn to a crisp after several hours of exposure to sunlight. On the other hand, Reserbians possess excellent regenerative abilities, and it has been said that they can fully recover from the loss of all 4 limbs after 6 months. A hardy species. Highlander the race, a type of feline folk descended from tigers, known for extreme belligerence and a love of solitude. And apparently... Wait, that's a type of feline folk? But these feline folk here, they're the ones that have the invisible blood, right? A race descended from feline animals, particularly cats and lions. Feline folk have tails that extend from their posteriors and are extremely curious. They have exceptionally strong senses of smell and hearing, as well as powerful night vision, and that sweet, delicious blood that everybody loves to harvest. Feline folk. These feline folk, or those feline folk, who retain most of the external features of the animals from which they descended. Okay. Vanguardian? A race living on the underdeveloped third planet of the Vanguard system. Due to their planet's low gravity, Vanguardians only possess 70% of the physical strength of Earthlings. I think we already read this one too, actually. You can pause it and finish reading that if you want. Lycanthrope, an extremely rare race of individuals in which ordinary human cells and beast folk cells that have been transformed by a special virus coexist in the same body. The human and beast folk cells in a lycanthrope's body will expand or contract when the heart rate exceeds a certain threshold. As a result, the lycanthrope's external appearance will appear to undergo a transformation. Although there are some exceptions, a lycanthrope's body will become more solid and powerful when the beast folk cells are in an expanded state. There are many different lycanthrope bloodlines, including those related to wolves, bears, tigers, dogs, rats, boars, and other animals. It should be noted that the legends about lycanthropes transforming after viewing the full moon, or about the lycanthrope's invulnerability to all weapons save those made of silver, are nothing more than superstitious, and they will still die when stabbed in the face, or shot. The legend of the full moon probably stems from an incident where a lycanthrope saw the moon and became excited for whatever reason, triggering the expansion of the lycanthrope's beast folk cells and the accompanying physical transformation. Could it not be that the primal urge, and maybe some of the beast cells, like a wolf cell, is what triggered the original transformations? Wanting to howl at the moon and getting excited at it there. Lazonian, a sentient race of humanoids living on the planet Lazonia. The Lazonians boasted a gigantic sphere of influence in the middle of the 4th century SD, and waged a number of major space wars with the Pan-Galactic Federation, which was then known as the Terran Alliance. Of all the known races still living today, the Lazonians are one of the first to have succeeded in developing faster-than-light travel. Holler bees don't care. Edifian. I'm still curious about this planet Edifice, where it's at. An unusual marine race that lives on the underdeveloped planet Edifice. Edifians live in a number of cities built on the ocean bed, and are strongly suspicious of those races that live on dry land. Edifians are not very enthusiastic about contact with outsiders, so very little is known about them. Dragons, fairly straightforward. Alphalian, a race of humans living on the planet Elda 3, which is blessed with natural beauty and an abundance of water. Alphalians are friendly to everyone they come into contact with, and it takes a great deal to anger one enough to do any harm. Of course, this assumes one can stand their more irritating traits. Those who cannot feel as if their every move they make is like a gigantic hammer, pounding away at their skull. The reason people get away with repeating the old adage, striking an Alphalian isn't a crime, it's a natural reaction, is that the Alphalians have such an unusually contentious conversation style, coupled with a narcissistic need to be the center of attention. So they just basically ask for an ass-kicking. And people apparently used to kindly and freely give it to them. But they've moved on since then, maybe. Miscellaneous. How much do we got here? Oh yes, a ton of things under miscellaneous. And I'm going to start towards the bottom here. We should know what most of these are. Transport ship, symbological genetics, C. Genomorphy, Sword of the Crimson Scourge, C. the Crimson Scourge, subspace warp, don't need sector scanner. What about, another myth / tradition, the Sacred Orb. a royal treasure of the sacred kingdom of Aquaria, hidden and sealed in the shrine of Kadan. It is infused with a powerful runological force, and is said to gush forth sacred water from within. That's neat. Quark, Replicator, the Rossetti troops, don't need to know about those. Planet class. Here's a little information and schooling on what these planet classes mean whenever they're talking about them in the description. Planet class is a classification of a planet's size into either S, M, or L. Planets with a solid crust but no atmosphere are S-class planets. Planets with both a solid crust and an atmosphere are M-class planets. And gas planets without a solid crust are categorized as L-class planets. There are variations in size depending on how far a planet is from its parent star, but in general, S-class planets are smallest, followed by M-class, then L-class. According to this system, Earth would be categorized as an M-class planet. I guess that would mean Venus would also be an M-class. Saturn and Jupiter are L-class. Pluto probably S-class then. The Incapacitator, an anti-personnel weapon used to capture Plump and companions when they attempted to escape. This machine is only used to capture organisms alive, and lacks the ability to inflict casualties, thankfully. Gravitic Warp Core, Genomorphy, a prohibited field of science in which a target organism is freely created through the research and direct manipulation of the genetic information of living organisms. This field, which intrudes upon the domain of the gods, has been declared heresy by certain types of religious people and philosophers, and researchers have even been persecuted in the past. Still, this is one field that humanity cannot avoid on the path to the summit of evolution, or so some scientists believe. Fate's father, Dr. Lion-God, is a famous genomorphist who is well known throughout the galaxy, and who specializes in the study of genomorphy from the standpoint of symbological science. Genomorphist. Researchers in the field of genomorphy, the division between persons of religion, who guides the hearts of their flock in the name of gods, and persons of science, who attempt to research absolute truth, was born of human language and continues even now that we have taken to living in outer space. Eagle, that's a ship. Cliff and his companion's ship, I'm guessing was the ship before we crashed it and totaled it. The Eagle is small, yet boasts a powerful gravitic warp engine and a light body that, in combination, make it one of the most maneuverable ships in the galaxy. Since priority was given to maneuverability in the ship's design, it possesses no major weaponry, but it is fast enough to shake off any unskilled pursuers in the blink of an eye. The Eagle actually belongs to Quark, rather than to Cliff personally. They're not going to be pleased when they hear about it. The Diplo, a large ship used by the Anti-Federation organization Quark as its flagship. Although the Diplo looks like an ordinary diplomatic flagship from the outside, it has been extensively modified with diverted military parts. Although it would be no match for a regular battle-class ship of the Pan-Galactic Federation, it does boast firepower and defensive capabilities that are vastly superior to that of typical spaceships. Although the Diplo is officially registered to Cliff, Cliff has preferred to use the Eagle ever since the organization obtained it, and these days Maria always commands the Diplo. Okay, so Cliff, does he own the Diplo, or is it just registered to him? And he was leasing the Eagle, kind of. The Crimson Scourge, a legendary magic sword and one of the hidden treasures of the gods from the age of the ancient kingdom of Aquar. Crimson Scourge is said to have the ability to cut the sky itself. However, it chooses its own master, and it is said that if someone unworthy touches it, they will be driven insane as punishment. More leftover technology, I guess, from that previous advanced civilization that used to roam this planet. The Communicator, the standard communications device in use throughout the Pan-Galactic Federation. I was hoping this would be about the communicator we got from the Craftsman's Guild. Combat Explorer, a large vessel of approximately 1 kilometer in length, built to explore uncharted regions of space outside the Pan-Galactic Federation's sphere of influence. These ships often embark on extended voyages of several months to several years at a time, so are designed to operate independently and handle any task alone, including combat. What do we know about the Black Brigade? One of the 3 military branches of the Kingdom of Eriglyph, comprised of heavily armored knights that move across the battlefield wielding huge swords much taller than themselves, encased in sturdy black armor. The Black Brigade is said to be the most destructive force on the continent of Gate, inspiring awe in allies and terror in foes. Albel Nox, otherwise known as Albel the Wicked, master of the Katana and a general commander of the forces invading Aquaria, is the current captain of this brigade. Atmospheric Battle Simulator. What do we know about the battle class ships? The latest model of battle spaceship, used as the backbone of the Pan-Galactic Federation military. Since battleships are built out of carbonic neotide, which has extremely high light beam absorption characteristics, they boast stealth characteristics that are dramatically superior to those of other ship classes. Battleships are approximately 300 meters long, sport a variety of armaments such as creation cannons, phase cannons, and quantum torpedoes, and are extremely versatile. Also, battleships are designed with the capability to simultaneously fire out of multiple gun ports for overwhelming firepower that goes beyond what one would ordinarily believe possible. Battleships are also fully equipped from a defensive standpoint and are able to block up to 2.94 times 10 to the negative 8th percent units of energy by using a sympathetic vibration effect between 2 onboard space-time displacement shields. These high-quality shields are manufactured by Austin Manufacturing, which has the best reputation of any manufacturer in the Pan-Galactic Federation. I think that's almost it. The absolute visual magnitude, what's that? Unlike the usual visual magnitude system, which compares the apparent brightness of stars as viewed from a specific planet, this unit was created to compare the actual brightness of stars. This unit gives the brightness of a star when viewed from a specific distance of 10 parsecs, which is 32.6 light-years. That makes sense. The Ascension of the Flame. This is the last one. A ceremony in the military superpower of Eriglyph that marks a covenant with the air dragons that are such a vitally important part of the Glyphian military. The ceremony is essentially a proposal from knight to dragon to join forces and fight together. Attempting a covenant with a powerful air dragon is an extremely dangerous act, and the success rate of such ceremonies is said to be less than 30%. Of course, the more powerful the partner, the more dangerous the fight needed to complete this ceremony. It is not uncommon for knights with the hubris of exaggerating their own prowess to pay with their lives. So, ho boy, all these new terms. I guess I'm not going anywhere just yet. Battleship Aqua Ellie. What do we want to see? What's a creation cannon? The creation energy-based cannons used by ships in the Pan-Galactic Federation military. Since these guns use creation energy as an energy source, they are far more destructive than the antimatter cannons that used to be the mainstay of ship-to-ship weaponry. However, creation cannons are far more difficult to control. In 732 SD, the space-time displacement shield inside the battleship Tilgrim's primary cannon malfunctioned, resulting in an explosion that annihilated an entire planet from the universe. For this reason, Federation law stipulates extremely severe restrictions regarding the use of creation cannons. Completely destroyed it. No trace at all was left, not even a dust cloud, not even a rubble field. Quite serious. I'm kind of curious real quick. Do I have anything else on creation? Creation magic? Creation energy? Creation... no. Creation energy? Yeah, it's blah blah blah. It's extremely powerful. Apparently more powerful than antimatter. Messing with the very creative blocks of the universe itself. Quantum torpedoes. Maria Trador. a young and beautiful human girl born on Earth who is the leader of the Anti-Federation organization Quark, a group most active in the Klaus system. She claims that she was modified with symbological genetics into some sort of biological weapon by both Dr. Linegods, Robert, and Ryoko. Furthermore, she says that Plump is also such a weapon. Spoilers, I guess. It is true that both Plump and Maria possess latent powers that are clearly more than just symbology or Qui-Gon. But at this moment, there is no way to prove that these mysterious powers are the result of the scientist's experimentations as she claims. Regardless, many people believe her earnest words, and although she is an Earthling, her impeccable integrity led the Anti-Federation organization Quark to make her their leader. So, we've been worked on, apparently. It should come as no surprise whenever you heard what our father was up to. But we have been worked on, and apparently Maria has been too. I would assume that is why Quark wants to see us so badly. The diplomatic flagship, the Shrine of Catan facility... What do we know about the Aqua Ellie? Commodore Whitcomb's beloved flagship, from which he has successfully engaged in battle for more than 10 years since he was assigned command of Remote Station Number 6. Although the Aqua Ellie is an old model, it has been retrofitted a number of times, and performs as well as any newer ship. With the ingenious Commodore Whitcomb at its helm, the Aqua Ellie has become known as the Federation's most powerful battleships, as one of them. Okay, I gotta see what the Newman Purifier is. A device developed by Dr. Newman in 371 SD that repairs the physical and mental distortion that the interaction with special particles generated by highly purified energy stones causes in organisms. This purifier makes use of a special phenomenon called the Kurtz absorption, which removes the symbological particles that are the cause of this biological pollution, thereby cleansing the target creature. Okay, what's this? The Qui-Gon. A technique of freely manipulating the spiritual energy that flows through one's body through physical training. Is that actually the scientific term, or is that the pseudo-scientific term? Either way, I think we're done here. I'm not going to read through all of these. That should be more than enough. I will be probably doing, if I didn't mention it, a dictionary video every 10 videos or so. I hope that that wasn't too much of a cram session and that you guys picked up a little bit of information about the backstory and lore and the reasonings behind everyone's motives here. If not, well, you're always free to listen to it again and take notes. And whenever I come back, we are probably going to be doing... I don't know what we should do. I might do a little bit of off-screening actually too, just to get some more full, and maybe do some more crafting. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not in a hurry to progress the story too much just yet, but there is more of Paternity that we can still explore. I think I need to go north and to the east and see what's down those roads. So yeah, whenever we come back.